Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. Keeler, California. Population 50. Though I think even that may be stretching it a bit. Like other ghost towns in the American West, Keeler is no longer what it once was. A town with hundreds of people, a thriving economy, and a beautiful lake alongside it. Today, all of the water is gone. It dried up a century ago when Los Angeles built their aqueduct and inadvertently created a dry lake bed that covered Keeler and surrounding areas with harmful, toxic dust. That, and the closing of area mines, caused nearly everyone to move away, leaving their homes and vehicles behind. I first stumbled across Keeler a couple of years ago, and today I'm coming back to photograph what once was in one of the most beautiful landscapes in the United States. So according to the sign on the outside of this little building here, this used to be the Keeler Market. So I assume it used to be like a little general store, a little place where you could go and buy various things. You can't really see much because the glass is all dirty, but there is an opening here. Wow. Yep. Definitely used to be a store. A long time ago. That's the counter right there. Cases in the front. Shelving in the back. It's probably where a lot of products were stored. Canned goods and the like. Cigarettes. Booze, whatever you're looking for. The Keeler Market probably had it. Super cool. I would love to get inside and shoot that. What I want to photograph here, and the thing that really caught my eye, was the right edge of the market here, looking out towards the Sierras in the background, because back there you have some nice utility poles. There's some equipment that's kind of laying around, and there's this nice kind of progression of vertical lines with the right edge of the building and the poles kind of leading the eye back into the mountains in the back. And it's nice. My temptation is just to, shoot the building square, like just, back up and just shoot it like this. And maybe I will, because the sign is fantastic. The sign is really, really cool. And as is the door. The lines are a little bit funny because the building is actually leaning like this. It's leaning over. So the right edge of the building is not straight. I don't think the utility poles are straight either. So at this point, I'm just leveling the camera and just getting that level, and then just letting everything else be what it's going to be. I don't want to get that truck over there in the shot. I don't find that to be the most interesting photographically. But when we kind of get over here and just cross that line, then we get this nice shot right there with the right edge of the building and those utility poles in the background back there. Really, really cool. I like this. I wish the light was a little bit better, as always. It's a little strong right now, but yeah, I think I can work with it. I think it's going to be fine. Isn't this amazing? I feel like I've stepped into like an old Western or like I'm gonna get a bounty or something from Red Dead Redemption if you've ever played that. This is on Railroad Avenue in the center of town. And, well, I mean, it used to be, you know, a place where the trains would come through. There used to be tracks coming through here. And the trains would stop and they would load up with, you know, minerals, with silver from up on the hill, up with the mines around here, with Cerro Gordo up the hill that way. And it was the Colorado Railroad Company that had a railroad that came through here. And the plan apparently was for the railroad to go all the way to the Mojave Desert south of here. And they were going to keep going, but the mines fell on hard times. The trains stopped running and stopped carrying materials. And so, yeah, that was pretty much it. So no more trains. But photographically speaking, it's just, well, it's just so amazing. Like, you don't come across stuff like this every day, that's for sure. I love the reeds here in the front with this nice yellow color that matches the tone and the color and like the patina of the wood that's on the face of the building here. And then, of course, we have some of the paint that's chipping off, some of the blue, which is a nice color contrast for the yellow. The windows and the light, and yeah, it's good stuff. This little house is so wild. This is right over here next to the train depot. And yeah, I can't believe these chairs are just sitting here. I'd love to know how long they've been here. When was the last time anyone's been inside of this house? I assume it's been a very, very long time, based, you know, purely off of how overgrown it is, obviously. I mean, it is completely overgrown, completely wild. It's always kind of amazing to me how you'll see little, like, personal objects, artifacts, chairs, gardening equipment, like some bricks and some pots and some buckets and other stuff, and yeah, just one day someone just disappeared and just left all this here. So this would appear to be one of the old processing facilities here in Keeler. Place where they process minerals. Loads of old kitchen appliance. It looks like a stove. And some rusted out oil drums. Fascinating old factory here. Old tea kettle. I love this little building here with the no smoking sign on it. This is pretty fantastic right here, with how the light is catching it. Nice ceiling up here too. This definitely has some potential. Oh, this I love right here. This is super nice. I love just little vignettes like this. Just little scenes, nothing too dramatic. Just a simple rusted out oil drum with some reeds behind it. I don't know, it's a very simple example of that contrast between man-made and nature kind of colliding together, and nature slowly absorbing the oil drum back. Yeah. I like the simplicity of it. Speaking of old and possibly even abandoned things, if you have an outdated website that could use a refresh, or you're just looking to build something new, I'd recommend checking out the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. I like using Squarespace for my own photography because they have clean, minimal templates that are easy to set up and customize. And then I'm also able to publish images much larger than what I share on social media. I especially like how easy it is to create albums, upload photos, and organize them in whatever order I want. And if you want to sell prints, digital downloads, or whatever you're into, Squarespace has e-commerce tools available as well. With Squarespace, you can register a new domain and publish a website all by yourself without writing code or paying anyone to help you out. You can do it all by yourself by heading over to squarespace.com/Dominey. And whenever you're ready to go live, use promo code Dominey to save 10% off your first domain or website. And this back here is without a doubt one of the most fascinating things in the town of Keeler, the Keeler Beach Club. This is actually what I photographed the last time I was here, and I was so excited to find. There's just something about the contrast of this man-made structure, this ruin of a pool. It's right on the edge of the lake and the mountains, and it's just absolutely wild, the contrast between the two. But I'm not going to shoot it at this light. I think I'm going to come early in the morning and shoot it then at sunrise, because the sun sets over there in the west over the mountains, but in the morning it'll be coming up this way over here, which says to me perhaps I'll get some better light, especially on the water here. Better light on the mountains back there in the distance. I know that'll definitely happen, but I'm hoping some of that light gets down in here too. So yeah, the Keeler Beach Club is such an oddity, such an interesting piece of history. So very early morning, and the light is just coming up over in the east, and I'm speaking quietly because I don't want to wake anybody up. It is dead quiet here. So yeah, sunrise is definitely better. Getting some nice reflections of the clouds off of the very murky water down here. The orange and magenta clouds are reflecting off of the water and giving it some color. And then we have, of course, the pool itself, and this fantastic little ladder over here that I just love so much. It's like that one little extra thing in the image that that tells you what this is, you know, because otherwise it just kind of looks like a concrete hole. But when you see the ladder, you know it's a pool. And of course, then we have, you know, this fence line back here, and the Sierra Mountains in the background, just absolutely beautiful. And I'm trying to, you know, part of the challenge is getting the camera height right so that the fence line does not interfere with the geometry of the mountains in the background, the line in the back. And so I'm shooting it a little bit higher so that the lines don't intersect with one another. And it's amazing how little it's actually changed in the past couple of years since I was here last and I first stumbled across this. And yeah, this is some great colors. So I'm going to take a few more images. The only challenge I've been experiencing here is that this ground around it, all this brush, is soft and it's rather bouncy, and I'm shooting obviously very slow exposure, like it's about a 6-second exposure, and because the light is so dim, and I'm also shooting at my f11, so I'm having to just stay as perfectly still as I possibly can to keep the tripod from bouncing. I'm not even breathing. I'm shooting a little bit low so that I get some of the foreground, some of this brush, because I don't think the underside of the RV is particularly interesting. And then, and so it also, I think, gives you like an immersive kind of feel, because then you're down in it. And then you have the mountains in the back and this color. Holy shit, this sky is unreal. Really beautiful atmosphere. I just love the fact that part of the cloud part of the moon is being revealed by that curvature in the cloud. It almost looks like a gust of wind is like pushing it away and revealing it. Super beautiful. This is pretty wild here. Used to be an old store here, according to a local that I talked to, and you can tell with the old advertisement painted on the side. And apparently there were some earthquakes here, and I think that's part of what demolished the store. The rest of the store is no longer here, but the wall, but at least one side of it is still here. And I don't know, there's something about this wall. It's pretty cool. So I stumbled across a pretty cool little area back here in the back end of town. An old rusted out Cadillac just over here. Obviously hasn't been driven in a very long time. Somebody really liked Cadillacs. We also have a Cadillac hearse here. And then there's another Cadillac right here, a coupe I'm actually back here because I ran into a local who was over here feeding her horse, and she was very kind, very nice, and we talked about a few things. Talked about art, talks about travel and all kinds of stuff, and she was fantastic. And I asked her if I could come back in here and shoot, and she was like, yeah, absolutely. She said that she's always liked artists and photographers because her husband was an artist apparently, and so yeah. I've been trying to get a composition on the hearse, you know, with the backdrop of the Sierras back here, and haven't quite nailed it. I haven't quite figured out how to do it, and it's not. And the light is disappearing on me, and I feel like I'm probably running out of time here. Maybe I could photograph the caddy from the back. That might actually be pretty great. If the horse came over, that would be even better. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing to photograph. I was thinking about maybe getting down like this, maybe. And yeah, not too sure. There's a really interesting grouping of elements here, I think, because we have obviously the Cadillac here in the foreground, which is, you know, that's really my subject. But then we have the road, this dirt road that is leading back in between the cars. There's also that old 70s van over there. There's the old stable over here. And I've been trying to figure out how to get the camera up here high enough or get it into the right position because, well, let me see if I can show this to you on this. What was happening was when I was shooting the car, the geometry of the car was running into like this stuff over here, this stuff in front of the shed. So I lifted the camera up higher in order to create more of a gutter right there with the grass. And that seems to be working. That seems to be pretty good. I'm a little bit higher than I would like to be. I don't like to go too high and then shoot wide because then that just creates distortion. So I'm trying to, you know, do this at the most natural, you know, focal length that I can. Makes sense. And I like how we have, you know, the car, we have the Cadillac, the van, the utility pole off in the distance, and the shed over here, and some of the light and some of the clouds up here are really quite great. So yeah, hoping, and I'm feeling pretty good about this. I think this is probably the best angle that I could ask for here.